Hello, my name is Teron Mitchell, and I am here today to talk to you guys about subnetting. I'm currently a student at Franklin University pursuing a network, an IT infrastructure, and a IT security degree, and I also have a degree in network administration from Columbus State. And the purpose of subnetting is to help segment a network for the purpose of adding more networks or adding more devices. The network classes are very essential to identifying a network. I will show you how the bits are used in identifying a network and how they are used in calculating a network. The network begins with a calculation in mathematics. And this calculation is represented by 2 to the nth power. 2 to the nth power is used by Cisco to help calculate the network bits in identifying how many networks can be used in an organization. And 2 to the h power minus 2 is also what Cisco uses to identify or to calculate the host bits used in the network. This rule only applies for the host, the minus 2. Networks do not use this rule. And the reason that this skill is important, as identified by Cisco, routing and subnetting will allow for networks to communicate with certain hosts or identifies certain groups or a particular department. And the purpose for this is for security and controlled access. Without having network segmented, everybody would be able to see everything in a company, and that's not always necessary. A network class is identified by the bits. In a class A, you have your first 8 bits. These 8 bits are on, and they're represented by 255 in regular numbering. And the last bits are off, and they're represented by 0, and 0 is represented here. So this means that all these bits are off. Class B, you have the first 16 bits on, and it's represented by 255, 255, and the last 16 bits are off. In a class C, you have the first 24 bits are on, and binary, there we go, and then the last 8 bits are off. And an ISP will help you identify what type of network you need. And when I say ISP, that's your internet service provider. They will ask you questions like how many devices you have, how many employees, things like that, to help you figure out what type of subnetting class you will need. The classes A, first 8 bits, they just help identify the classes. It's very important that you know what class you're using, because it stands for the size of your organization. Each bit is represented by a power of 2. So you will calculate each bit in order to figure out your network. And this will help you determine how many networks you can use, and also identifies the amount of devices. The maximum number of networks that can be created is 2,147,483,648. This is what 2 to the 31st power would be. Network bits have been calculated. Now let's calculate the host. And you would do that with 2 to the h minus 2. And minus 2 helps separate the broadcast and the network IDs. For an example, in Class C addresses, you would use 2 to the 8th power minus 2 equals 254. This is how many possible hosts you were able to use in a Class C address. There is also a website that will help you with the addresses and the classes once you identify all your hosts. And a Class A address, if you have a Class A subnet, you would have to use this address range. For Class B, you would have to use this address range. And for Class C, you will have to use this address range. And these address ranges will tell you exactly how many addresses are available to you. 16,777,216 for Class A, 1,048,576 for Class B, 65,536 for a Class C. And this is how the internal scheme looks within a network. So you will never see the 255 addresses. You will always see IP addresses, but this is how it's broken down. And this will allow for an administrator to address his network as he needs, and allows him to secure his network as he needs by blocking off departments and segmenting departments so that not everybody's able to access each and every department in an organization. And also, subnetting allows for segmentation, and it's enforceable. It allows for a lot of different rules to be applied so that people can go in and out of a network as they are allowed. And this concludes my speech on subnetting, and thank you for your time.